managed a bit earlier start today, and we've quite a lot to tell you, so we'll try and get on with it. Got the new equipment, look, there we are. I thought it was slightly different to this, but it's ideal because it's a little bench grinder, you see, with a sanding disc on, and I've had a little bit of luck as well because I needed a rough belt for it, and I went down to the shop I use and I said, have you got one this size? No, don't do that. He looked on the thing and I said, well, when I was just about to leave, I said, oh, have you got something a bit shorter then? Well, it won't fit. I said, well, I can make it fit, you know, it's only a cheapest thing, I can alter it a bit. It only means drilling another hole there or something like that. So he had a look and he came back with one, the right size. He said, we've got one. So that was a bit of luck, wasn't it? And another bit of luck I had. Now I'm going to start the flywheel today, I'll show you that. And what I'm going to do, I'll show you marking out. It hasn't got to be done that way, but we're going to do it that way just to show you. And also, whoa, when I had my boat, not my last one, the one before, must be 7 or 8 years ago now, I bought a few nuts and bolts and stuff to do the coupling on it, and I've got 6, because what I want to do is make the flywheel, it's heavy-ish, but you know, it can't be too heavy. Now, something else I've been forgetting to tell you as well. Now, when steam engines were made, they were massively over-engineered, and that's one thing I'm going to try to show with this model, because most people, they don't do that. They make them dainty, or you know, if they are heavily made, they use different parts like engines, you know, lawnmower engine, flywheel assemblies, things like that, the ones I've seen anyway. So we've done quite a lot. Using the belt sander, I got the block, I've just sanded that, and that is now pretty square and good enough. Before I do it, I'm going to have to chop the top off for the head, and as I say, doing the bore is going to be the tricky bit. It's one bit I don't think will work. It might, but again, I was lucky because I've got a drill, and so we're going to have a go at that, but not today. I've a couple of things to do today, hopefully. If time doesn't run out, it might do. We'll have to see how long we've got, because I like to, if I do a video and put it up, you know, I don't save it, because if I do that, I either forget about it or forget what I've done, you know. Anyway, we've managed to sand these to something like, and it's good enough to put on. I've got the bottom fairly flat, and I've sanded the top of the base and the edges a little bit, so that's coming on. And those scratches in, by the way, if you know, I said about drilling some like countersinks. So when I found out where everything goes, what I'm going to do is do that. Oh, another thing I did, of course, was I've done I've reinforced that depth stop on there, and it does now. It's a lot firmer. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. You can actually see. You can see when it stops, so that's a bonus, isn't it? Right. So what we'll do, we'll just see if I can show you how to mark out and do it. We're doing this. We're using that. I won't get too close so you can see it. Hopefully, there. And it's called Engineer's Blue. And I've had this since I was at work, and it get lathered up, but that don't matter. Oh, I can get the top off. That's a good start, isn't it? Anyway, there we are. It got open for a long while. Right, so what you do, on a bit hard, you just put a very light coating over the top. Now, what I've done, I've sanded it very lightly on the top, but the underneath bit, remember all this is going to be remachined, that's quite a good flat surface. you see. So that's one thing. Yeah, this drilling, by the way, this is going to be a bit heavy. It's supposed to be a bit lighter than this, and it's probably gone a bit hard, I don't know. As I say, I've had it an awful long time. But we might be able to see it, we might not. And of course I haven't got a proper service plate and marking out stuff, have I? You know, so it's going to have to be, again, near enough like. Anyway, what we've got to do is find the centre and put a centre dot as near to the centre as we can, and then I'm drilling a ring of holes for those bolts. So what we'll do, we'll probably show you one of those, and I've just quickly made a couple of clamps for this as well. So we've been quite busy, you see. Had a good trip down, Abbey Road trip to fetch my sander. I've told people online, haven't I, on Facebook and stuff. I've not actually said it on the video yet. So what happened was, a friend was going to fetch it because I wasn't really up to it. Anyway, I felt alright middle of the week, and we couldn't organise a time when he was going and everyone was in. So I said, oh, I feel alright, I'll go. And another bit of luck as well, because I went down on, it was Wednesday, it's Friday day. I went down on Wednesday and it's the nicest day we've had. It looks nice outside, but it's cool today. So try and wipe the excess off. You get covered in it, I do. You're supposed to put it on with a brush, you see, and that, but I don't worry about that. Right. So that's on there like that. Now the first thing we have to do, and I'm using this old vernier. You know, we've got to try and use this. It doesn't work very well. So the thing is, what you have to do, I've got to find as near to the centre as possible. It doesn't matter too much because I am going to clean a bit off the outside, you see. But the less you take off, the better. And to find the middle is pretty simple, because you put that as near as you can on the edge and do a small line. And I don't know if you can see if the camera will pick it up or not. And put it on that edge. As I say, this isn't the best tool to use actually, but there, like that. And do it that way. And then, of course, it will show you more or less where the middle is. So if we put that in the middle and go there like that, and like that, and then we go to this edge there, and as I say, it may not be cock on, it isn't, because, or it is, but it's still a bit difficult to use. But if you get plenty of lines around it, you see, you can then see the middle, even if it's a little square. And as I say, let me just, you can see that. Don't come too close to this camera, but I've found out if I don't zoom, it's actually clearer. That's one thing I've been doing wrong. Right, so we just centre dot this, and if I move the camera to here, right, there we are, you can still see it. You don't need to see me do this, but I've got to be careful with this. Now, I've got to get this smack in the middle, which should be there. There we are. Now we've got a dot, I can check it by putting that point in the dot and look at it, and in fact, if I keep it on the top edge and just scribe a line round here, just runs off there a little bit. Yeah. That's not too bad. Right, now all we have to do is to draw a line for the bolts. And luckily, so the good thing about all this work is I haven't got sizes to work to, so I suppose that's a good thing, isn't it? And so it can be anywhere of course, but and it wants to look something like, so I don't know, what do we think? About there, I think. That seems about. Now we just take a line around here like this, and you know, it's better on surface plates, but you don't need it for this bit. There we are. And then all we have to do is draw across the middle, for starters, to get 2 points to go to. Where's my square gone? Oh, it's here. Right. So all we have to do is making sure that we go across the middle like that. Just draw a line there. That's near enough. That's the beauty of this job. It's a near enough job, isn't it? Now you can probably see it there, can you? I think you can see the line. All right. Nice bright day. That's why I wanted to do it today. So 2 of the bolts go there. So what I'm going to do is to centre punch it again. If I can find it, I'll put it down there. Right. Oh dear. Hard seeing for me now. That's it. And if you get the on the line, you can get them pretty accurate. Yeah. And I'm sure you can see this bit as well. Right, it's on, I'm sure you can see that centre dot is smack in the middle of those 2 sharp lines you see, and that's how you mark out to get it fairly straight. Now what I'll do of course, and I won't show you this bit because there's no point, to get the others, you just go from there to there, like that, right, and get that the same, all that the same distance, or you can work it out and you protractors, you can do it how you like. So that's one thing. Right, so now what I'm going to do, attempt to do, is to clamp it down and drill a hole. So, oh, I know what I haven't done. Right, we better, I've got to get some drills ready. So I'll just stop it there a moment and then we'll come back when I'm got the drill sizes right. There we are, we've got set up. Did I mention I made these 2 clamps? Ideally it should have an adjustable leg, you know, you could have made a bit of bolt through or something, but these will do the job, and it's holding firm. And I'm over the hole in the middle. I'm doing a pilot hole first, and that is going smack on the line both ways, so we should be okay. I'm putting a pilot hole through first. Did I mention that? Can't remember. And when you're doing any machining, the firmer you can get it, the better. That's the thing. Now, I'm sure you know I'm certainly not the tidiest of workers, but in here I've had to learn to be a bit tidy. Anyway, one thing is, God dear, I can't be doing an awful lot of this because it's in my house. God, this aluminium, it was dust to start with, the filings were getting all over. I changed my shoes and you know, it's worse than that sawdust of my last blooming job, isn't it? So every time I drill a hole I have to clean up after me now. Otherwise, it's still getting a little bit throughout the house, but I'm doing my best. I can't do any more, can I? Right, so now what we do, you put this back up, making sure that you're in the smack in the middle again. That is. So tighten everything up tight, and it wants to be at the slowest speed, so I will just change the speed. It doesn't take a moment just to do that. We just go on the bottom pulley on the speed. No need to show you. I'm sure you've seen of it. It's got 5 speeds. It says it's all right for that. Tighten the belt up again. There we are. And then we'll do this one. I've just checked and I've got my hand in front of the camera. What I'll do, I'll put it here to be out of the way and get as close as I could. So we'll try it over here. I'll get a bit closer. There you are. I'll keep talking as I go rather than stop it. There you are. You'll be able to see now. I'll stand out of the way. I keep doing that because I'm on the wrong side. I could have left it at the highest speed actually, but it's alright. Let's see what we've got. Right. I can move this now because I've finished with this one. There we are, look. I want a nice loose fit. I found this drill that I knew would be the size because it's only going to have a nut and bolt on it and be tightened up and cut the head off when we're done. So that's that. That's that job done. I'll do the rest later. So I've shown you one. And while we're drilling, there's something else I can show you, so I'm going to set up for that. But there's something else I want to put on this video today, and that is to show you the best way of drilling the holes when they have to line up. Set up to do this job, which is to put this flywheel spindle support on the base plate. I've done enough that I can do that, and it's not critical where it goes, except I've got to leave enough room this side for the flywheel and my little crankshaft piece I'm making, the outer round piece I showed you on the drawing. But I've changed my mind slightly. I'm not having a cam now. I wanted to have a cam because I thought it looked better, but it might bounce, it could be easy. So I'm going to make the same thing on the other side for the spool valve, and with enough room, there's plenty of room, but it's just this side to get it to leave enough room for that and a spacer. And I'm fairly sure if I put it on there like that, and it won't go under the drill at the moment, if that goes on there but up to there, I think that should be about in the right place. Anyway, what I want to show you, and I'm going to tell you first, and I'll do a little bit of the drilling just to refresh your memory. Now I've got to drill 2 holes in there, of course, for 2 of these cap screws, and of course I've got to drill 2 holes in here that match up with those 2 there. Now there's lots of ways of doing this. You can drill those 2 holes and tap them and mark them out. You can measure them. You can get little transfer punches, centre punches, and they're like you know my little centre punch you've seen? Well, they're like little screws with a point on the top, and you screw them in and put your piece in the right place and tap it and it marks this piece. That's one way. You can get a bit of paper and do it. There's lots and lots of ways, but in everything in life, one of the ways is the best way. Now, mistakes, right? You want to eliminate as many mistakes as possible, or chances of mistakes as possible. Talking of mistakes, you often notice when I'm talking and doing something, I get my words wrong. Well, that's because we can only concentrate on one thing at once. So, I know we all like to think we can multitask, but we can't, you know. And it's why, for instance, many people can't talk on the phone and drive, because they concentrate on the conversation instead of the important task, which is driving. You know, I can, because I was going to make a video of it, but you can't now because iPhones have come out. Anyway, so what we've got to do is do that. So I'll tell you the best way of doing it, and I'll show you the last hole when I've finished this. Right, so you drill one hole in there and tap it, and then you can drill the corresponding hole in here, the clearance hole, because it doesn't matter to, you know, it's not exact, right? It doesn't need to be exact. You can get it pretty close, but for them to line up they have to be exact. So what you do, you drill that hole and tap it, or you can do it the same way by putting that on top there and mark out where you want it on this side. You know, it's irrelevant, so you could do that. But once you've done it, and this is the important bit, once you've done it, it's then held where it goes. It can't be wrong. So once you've drilled the hole that goes in there, or this end, whichever one you want to do first, drill it and finish it, put your screw in, then you put that piece on, square it up, get it where it is, and drill through the lot with your tapping size hole. Then drill your clearance hole in this piece, and that way it can't be wrong. And you know, there's lots of ways of doing it, but in practice, in the workshop, in the real world, that is the best way of doing things. So I hope that's a bit helpful for you. We'll see if we can get this done, and I'll show you. As I say, I've shown you drilling and tapping a hole. Oh, by the way, I mentioned about steam engines being massively over-engineered. Well, of course they were. I mean, if they haven't been scrapped, they'd all be still here. Not like modern stuff, is it? But, of course, if you remember, I drove a steam engine this year, and we got a nice bit of video. The chap was quite good at videoing it. And so, I'll just pop a few seconds of it up and show you. Well, this actually proved to be rather challenging, to be honest. I've got it done, and I'll tell you why in a moment. I'm just going to, we'll put it on and see what you think. And the reason is simply that nothing on this is square. So, the problems I faced was with how to put it on in the right place. That was the difficult bit, but I'll show you when I get it on. We'll just tighten these up. And as I say, it was actually, the only thing that made it difficult was, well, two things. One is, when you get this fade, I'll make a mistake. Although, for me, you know, because it's underneath, it wouldn't actually be the end of the world, would it? Simply because I could have just drilled another hole if the tap broke or anything. You know, it doesn't matter too much. It's not a, you know, we're not, as I said, you know, but I want it to be right. Let me know. I mean, we're coming on, we can get in there, aren't we? I mean, and like I said, make things, you know, we won't break anything. That's the thing with this. Right, so the problem was, you see, to get that level, because I couldn't go with that edge because there's that bit rounded there. This will be cleaned up a bit better, but that's basically it. You know, and that there, you see, you couldn't square off that, you couldn't square off anything. So what do you think? Have I got it about right? I think it looks right. You have to do it from looks. Now the rest of it will be easy, of course, because when I put the piece on for the block, which will probably go something like that, I can just square one edge up with that edge, you know, and then get this piece square with these two. You know, that's easy. But that first one, it's like on a boat. Nothing, I mean, everything's rounded. Anyway, we've got that done successfully, so I'm a bit happier about that now. So I think that'll do for today, won't it?